Hello everyone, I'm here with Joey Milam from Alpha Mortgage, and we were going to do a video today talking about some of the common misconceptions on buying a home and being approved for a mortgage. So Joey, what are some of those things that you see people having a misconception about as far as being able to be approved for a home loan?
Yeah, Nick, probably the biggest misconception that I see on a regular basis would be down payment. A lot of clients feel that they need to have a full 20% down payment to buy a home and simply don't have the ability or haven't had the time to save up that much money. When in fact, there's a lot of loan types out there, things like USDA, which requires no down payment whatsoever, VA loan, which requires no down payment whatsoever, which is a great loan for veterans and active duty military. There's any number of other things like FHA, North Carolina housing. There's a lot of different programs out there that maybe don't require that full amount. It's really good for a first-time home buyer.
That's great. What about things like credit score?
Credit score depends widely on the loan program, but again, many people have that misconception that they have to have excellent credit, and it's really not true. By no means can you have horrible credit, but at the same time, probably the minimum credit score for FHA and VA loan programs is a 580. If you get up to a 640 credit score, it opens up a lot more opportunities for you. Things that you cannot have on your credit report would be late payments on an existing mortgage or foreclosures, bankruptcies within the last year or two. Things like that are going to prevent you, but for the most part, for your average buyer that just think, I don't have an 800 credit score, there's still options out there. There's still a lot of good loan programs for you.
And how about things like job history? I know I hear from people pertaining the length of their job. What are you looking for there?
With the vast majority of loans, you actually need a 2-year history of work history, not necessarily on the same job. In fact, you don't have to have been on the same job. I've had clients who've had 2 or 3 jobs over the last few years. As long as it's within the same line of work or something similar that fits in, just have a 2-year history.
So if I'm working in retail and I've been continuously employed for the last 3 or 4 years, but I've worked for different retail companies within that time frame, that's not a problem.
That's perfectly fine. If your income is commission-based from a retail perspective or a commission-based job, you do have to have 2 years solid history of that self-employed income. And that can get a little bit tricky sometimes, but your tax returns will tell us that. And that's typically why we're going to ask for those things. I will say too, for someone that maybe just recently graduated college, for almost all loan types, with the exception of USDA, you can actually use school as school history too. If you've been a full-time college student, graduate, get out and get a job making whatever you're making, a good paying job, you can use that as history too and go straight into buying a home.
That's great. That's really good information. I hear a lot from clients that are first-time home buyers that they feel that they can't get a home for various number of reasons, but those are definitely some of them.
Yeah, it's always worth asking. Talk to Nick, talk to myself, call a professional and find out, but it's definitely worth asking to see, because in Wilmington, in our area, the vast majority of the time I see it is far more affordable to own than it is to rent. If you can afford to rent a $900 or $1,000 a month condo, or sometimes $1,200, $1,400 a month apartments, condos, whatever you're renting, more than likely you can afford to purchase. So it's worth talking to us and finding out. We'll let you know when you call in and speak with a loan officer. They're going to look and talk and find out what your goals are and what you're looking to do. Talk about your income, talk about your debt to income ratio, which is what we use to determine how much you can afford to buy.
Great. Well, I appreciate all the information. And like you said, feel free to reach out to me or to him. And I think that about does it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Nick and Riley here. Just want to say thank you for watching my video. Make sure you click that subscribe button down below, and don't forget to share with your friends.